Another idea for giving recognition. Let me show you how to do this. Everybody up. Stand up, everybody. Turn to the right, and I want you to give the person in front of you a pat on the back for the good job they do. Round to the left. Pat on the back for the good job they do. Okay, take a seat, everybody. What would happen where you work if when you finish work for the day, everybody stands up, turns to the right, turns to the left, pat on the back before they go home? Would that make a difference to the way that you feel? Welcome. I'm Patricia Cameron-Hill.
I'm Shane Yates. In this program, we've got some great ideas on teamwork.
I'll be presenting the main ideas, and Shane's going to be joining me for examples and explanations.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you, Shane. If you look at successful teams, you realise very quickly that teamwork doesn't just happen, and they know that. They know that you have to work on a productive and happy team. And in our research, we've looked at those successful teams to see what it is that they have in common. What is it that they do? And if you use the ideas that they use, then you'll improve teamwork where you are. Successful teams do 5 things. The first is start with you. They know that each person has an individual contribution to make to the team, that it's up to them, that teams comprise individuals. And if everyone has a positive attitude and brings something positive to the team, then they get better results. The second thing that successful teams know is that they work together. They help each other, even if it's not their job, because they know that the job gets done. The third characteristic of successful teams is that they give recognition. They know that everybody has a need to feel appreciated and important. And the fourth characteristic of successful teams is that they fight fair. There's conflict in teams, isn't there? But they know how to resolve that conflict, how to minimise it, but when they have it, how to address it and get the results. And finally, successful teams have some fun. Because when people are happy at work, when they enjoy their job, then the results are easier. Would you agree with that? So let's start with number 1, and that is start with you. Do you ever wake up in the morning raring to go? Has it ever happened to you that you felt terrific and you think, I just can't wait to get to work? At least once in your life, has that happened to you? Who would agree with that? You know, okay. On those days, do you find that you're more giving, more loving, you don't mind giving a little bit extra? You're about to go to morning tea and someone makes a request and you say, oh, I don't want my morning tea, I'll help you out. Has that ever happened to you? All right. On other days, you wake up in the morning and you think to yourself, I just don't think I've got a day in me. Has that ever happened to you? And you lie back on the pillow and you think, what's on today? Could I be spared? And then you realise you've used up all your sick leave, so you have to go in. Do you find on those days you give a little less? You hold back? You're not your loving self? Who would agree that you've had those days? All right. What accounts for the differences? What accounts for the difference between those days when you're raring to go and the days when you're holding back and feel a bit low has to do with feelings, the way you feel. And the way one person feels in a team affects the way everybody else feels in a team. Let's have a look at Shane now as he arrives for work. Hi Shane, how are you?
Oh, not bad. No use complaining.
Never seems to stop you.
Oh, it's all right for you to laugh. I'm having one of those days.
Why? What's happened?
Well, I slept in, then the cat threw up on the carpet, and I got every single red line on the way to work.
Why is it that when you're running late, the car in front of you knows you're running late? I mean, they could get through the amber, but not today, because you're running late.
Not funny.
I'm sorry.
I'm exhausted.
Here's a question. Will his attitude affect the rest of the team? Who says absolutely has to? Where you work, do you find that people watch people as they arrive for work? Your co-workers, you watch to see what sort of mood they're in, and you'll hear people say, uh-oh, uh-oh. You know, don't talk to him before morning tea, or don't ask him for that today, wait till tomorrow. So we know that we're each watching each other to see what their mood is, because we know that we're in the end going to wear that. So successful teams know that it's important for each team member to manage the way they feel. So how do you do that? What are the things that impact on the way that you feel? Aren't they things like the weather, music, the clothes you wear, what you drink, what you eat? There's a whole range of things that impact on the way we feel. As a team, what are the things that affect the way you feel that you're not responsible for and you've got no control over? Doesn't it include things like who you work with? You can't pick other people in the team. Who your boss is, what sort of change is going on at work, restructuring. There's all sorts of things that will impact the way you feel. And can you see that unless you manage your feelings, then you'll be a victim of your environment? And I guess all of you would be undergoing rapid change where you work. Who would say yes? That's the case for you. Rapid change, unprecedented in the history of the world. And feelings determine how people react to that. One group of people grizzle and grumble, get out. They take a package, they leave, get another job, and we're pleased usually to see them go. Another group of people, based on how they feel, grizzle and grumble and stay. And we wear them. Any of you got some of those people where you work? The third group of people, faced with change, based on how they feel about that, grab the opportunity. They don't grizzle and grumble, they say change is here to stay. They grab the opportunities and they move into the future because they know that that's not going to change in their lifetime. They have to be in control of the way they feel about it. Have you ever heard the expression, it's not what happens to you, it's how you take it that counts? What do we mean by that? It's not what happens to you, it's how you take it that counts. Well, what that means is that you can manage your feelings. Feelings come from the thoughts you think, the words you speak, and the beliefs you hold. Those things never change. While things are going on around you, and you can vary the way that you feel in accordance with that, if you choose your thoughts, beliefs, and words, you can always manage the way that you're feeling. Let me give you an example. We travel a lot in our business, and whenever we travel, we carry with us a tin of Freddo frogs. Don't you? And on special occasions like Easter, we've got chocolate bunnies in here, and at Christmas, we've got chocolate Santas. Well, this incident occurred one Christmas. We were flying from Sydney to Melbourne, and I said to Shane, let's give the flight attendant some chocolate Santas. So we counted out the 10 required, and we gave them to the purser, and she distributed them. Well, a few minutes later, one of the flight attendants came down looking for us. And she said, are you the couple that gave out the chocolate Santas? And we said, yes, hoping for an upgrade. I want to make the point that you don't give to receive, at least not immediately. We said yes. She said, well, the reason I've come to find you is that I was in the galley when my colleagues gave me a chocolate Santa. And I said to them that that is an act of love, and I'm going to find the people who committed it. What an attitude. And she was a positive person. You know those people that are naturally happy? You know, those happy, positive people. And I said, you know, you could be making a difference to people's lives. You could be a motivator. You could be a seminar presenter. She said, but I'm making a difference to people's lives. I said, but you're a flight attendant. She said, but I make a difference. She said, every flight I'm on, I watch the passengers board, and I look out for the most miserable, the meanest looking person on the flight, and I set a goal. I set a goal to change their attitude by the time we land. And I know something they don't know. When those doors shut, they can't get out. What this person is showing us, is demonstrating, is that she chose to think a certain way about her job. How do you choose to think about your job? Do the job you love or love the job you do? Another example. How many times when the phone rings we think, oh, if that phone doesn't stop, I'll never get my work done? Or we're irritated by interruptions or requisitions or people's problems. Does that happen to you? Could it be that if we changed what we were thinking about when the phone rang or when people wanted something from us, we could change the way we felt? Would that change our attitude when we pick up the phone, when we respond to that request? Let me give you an example of thoughts that you can think whenever the phone rings that would change the way you feel. Oh, by the way, would you be interested in this? Yes. All right. Shane? Uh-oh, there's my job. Uh-oh, there's my job. You see, when the phone stops ringing, when the requisitions don't come in, when people don't have problems anymore, you don't have a job. What if you looked at it like that? Words are powerful. Change the words, you change the feelings. How many times do we arrive for work and we think, oh, who am I working with today? Oh, she's so slow, I hate working with her. I mean, you wouldn't think that, but people think that, don't they? What would happen happen if you change the way that you interpreted that? Instead of saying, oh, who am I working with today? You arrive for work and you say, uh-oh, I'm working with my little challenge today. My little challenge. Let me ask you a question. Do you ever take a tea break where you work or go into the staff cafeteria and you get caught up with the quicksand crowd? Those people that drag you down. Who would know that experience? Those people so miserable that they light up the room when they leave. Or they walk around work looking miserable to prove how hard they work. Has that been your experience? So you get into the tea room, and how many of you feel worse when you leave the tea room than when you went in? Do you ever get caught up worrying about things you're not responsible for and can't control? You start talking about things. Let's demonstrate that, Shane. And it's not right.
It's not right.
It's not. They should do something about that.
And that person in charge,
Oh,
they don't know what they're doing.
I blame the government. Another cut.
That's right.
Cut. It's not right.
It isn't right.
Does that happen to you? You know, these things are not going to change in your lifetime, and we drag each other down. What if next time you get caught up by talking like that, you could utter these little words? Someone remembers to say these words, it would change the way you feel. Interested? Yeah. Okay.
Patricia, let's not torment ourselves.
Let's not torment ourselves, Shane. Let's not torment ourselves. Could that work for you? Let's not torment ourselves. You could say that at work. You could say that at home when you sit down for a meal and you ask the teenager, how was school today? Let's not torment ourselves. Especially about family members. They're not going to change. But if you change the words, you change how you feel about it. How many times do we go home from work and we complain what sort of day we have? We think that people are interested. And if we're not getting their attention, we exaggerate just a little bit. And they say, how was the day? Oh, it was a disaster. What's the feeling that comes with that? Negative or positive? Negative. What if people said, how was your day? And you said, oh, fool. If you change the word, then you change the feeling. Okay? What about this question, how are you today?
How are you, Patricia?
Oh, not bad. Do you remember that Shane said that when he came to work? How many of you say not bad without thinking? Not bad? All right, what does that mean? Not good either. But if you say not bad, they should cancel each other out. It should mean you feel good. Why don't we tell people we feel good at work? We know. They'll dump the work on us. But if I said, if you change the words, you'll change the way you feel, would you consider a different response when people ask you how you're feeling? You see, your feelings will catch up with the words. Whatever word you use over and over, eventually you'll feel them. So try this next time.
How are you, Patricia?
Fantastic. Now you must smile because it's more convincing and it makes you feel better. Or,
how are you, Patricia?
Turbocharged. You can't get much better than that. Let me test you people. How many of you would say you are fantastic? Okay, what about turbocharged? Well done. Okay, so words are powerful. Change the words and then you'll change the way you feel. Here's an idea that we got from a successful team. They have a sign up in their staff room, in their cafeteria, negative free zone. Negative free zone. A reminder that it's okay to speak about things that are going wrong for a few minutes, then drop it. Because every time you talk about something over and over and over, you relive the feelings. Would you agree with that? Yeah. All right. So what is morale? Morale is a consensus attitude. It's how a group of people decide to feel. Do you know that you can reduce morale, you can have morale drop just through spreading a rumour, morale's low? And that's the same in a team. If morale's low, it's because the team's decided that. And it's up to each individual person. I think the challenge in being part of a team, part of a successful team in these times of rapid change is to be happy now. If I said that you people would never work again, what would you miss? What would you miss? The money? We've got some practical people here today. You'd miss the money. What else would you miss? The company, the friendship. You'd miss a sense of purpose every day, wouldn't you? You'd miss having a job, you'd miss the variety, the challenge. Every day you arrive for work, you have to do your job with less and less. I mean, where else can you get that challenge? But if I said you could never do your job again, what would you miss? And most people don't think about that. So next time people say, where do you work? Instead of saying, oh, I work down the road, what's it like? Not bad. Say, I love it. I love my job. I'd do it for nothing if I could. The fact that they pay me is a real bonus. Now, is there a risk in saying something like that? Absolutely. People say, what are you on? Any left? All right, so let's have Shane back now and see if he's got a new attitude as he arrives for work. Oh, hi, Shane.
Hi, Patricia.
How are you?
Turbocharged. Woo, woo, woo.
Well done. So what are we saying here? Start with you. If you improve, everyone around you will improve. What a great starting place for teamwork. Let's not wait for everybody else. The second characteristic of successful teams is to help others. Have you ever heard the expression, that's not my job? I'm not paid to do that. You do it once, you'll always have to do it. Successful teams know to help each other. In fact, team, T-E-A-M, stands for Together Everyone Achieves More. Together everyone achieves more. Successful teams know that each team member must pull their weight. Must pull their weight. So successful teams help each other. How do they do that? They help each other in terms of the tasks that have to be done or the way in which they feel. Let me give you an example. The person who gave us this idea said she was having a terrible day at work. She had an awful morning. She came back from lunchtime and she said she still didn't feel any better. But there on her desk was some tinsel. And on the end of it, there was a card with her name on and a message. And the message read, "Follow the tinsel." Well, she did. Would you follow the tinsel if this was on your desk? Yes. So she followed the tinsel into her top drawer of a desk, and there on the end was a caramello bear. She said it made my day. Little things. What about putting together a survival kit for new staff where you work? Or those organisations that represent a number of cultures. Why not have cultural celebration days that celebrate the traditional dress, the food and the customs of that culture? There's always something you can do. What about surprise morning tea for another department? Or a lunch or an afternoon tea? You don't warn them, you just turn up with scones and cakes and you say, surprise. What would happen to teamwork in your organisation if you did that? Here's another idea. Why not commit random acts of kindness? Random acts of kindness. And what do we mean by that? Okay, outside of work it means returning your supermarket trolley when you don't have to. Giving someone else your car park. Taking a little pot plant into your local police station to cheer up their... little geranium to cheer up their foyer. Random acts of kindness. At work it means holding the lift door or holding the door. Or answering someone else's phone when it rings instead of saying, oh, it's not my phone, I've got enough work. You actually reach over and you take the time to write the message down without abusing the caller. A random act of kindness. Or writing a thank you note. Thank you notes. Any time. What would happen in your organisation if there was an outbreak of kindness? And do you know what? The only thing you have to do is to have everyone on staff, everyone in your team, cross teams, commit one random act every day, and there will be an outbreak of kindness. A random act is something you don't have to do, but when you do it, it changes the way that people feel. Random acts of kindness. What about a smile wave? How do you create a smile wave? What you do is as you arrive for work, you know the people you normally say hello to and smile? Well, what you do on these days, you smile at everyone. Smile here, smile there. And those people who smile at, what are they going to do with their smile? They're going to pass their smile on to someone else, and someone else, and someone else. And in the end, you've got this smile wave. Does that change the way that people feel? Yes, it does. And it helps people. A random act of kindness that we committed one time, again, we were flying. And we were returning from the United States via Honolulu. And we had a stopover in Honolulu, so we had to land at the airport. And we're all bracing ourselves for the landing. You know what it's like, because you know that if you're going to crash, it's on landing or takeoff. So we're bracing ourselves for the landing, but instead of landing, just at the point when I thought we would hit the runway, we took off again and there was that drag effect and everyone was calling, oh, we're going to crash, we're going to crash. And I was leading that call too because I knew that this was the moment. If the plane was going to fail, this was a moment. Oh, we're going to crash, we're going to crash. And then after a few, well, what seemed like minutes, but it's actually seconds, the captain came across on the public address system. He said, look, sorry about that, folks. I'm sorry I couldn't land. I thought better of it when I saw the other aeroplane on the runway. And I thought to myself, wait on, we've got to reward this behaviour, saving our lives. So when the plane did land, I took over in a way. I don't know, I just have that facility. And I stood up, and as the captain came out, the first officer and the engineer, I said to them, on behalf of everybody here, we would like to applaud you for that act of bravery. And I started the clapping. Do you ever clap and people don't follow you? And I don't know why it is, but these times Shane pretends he's not with me. I don't know why that is. So we clapped, and then I presented them each with, and I said, I'd like to present you with a Golden Star Award. And I put a Golden Star Award on each of their chests. Well, the chest expansion. And they walked off the aeroplane past the galley and said, look what we've got, and you haven't got it. So what does this show you? It shows you that little things make a difference. Stickers make a difference. When nurses put a red heart on their requisition for a blood test in the pathology department, they said that the red heart, to signify that that was an urgent test, cut the turnaround time by half. Stickers, little things that say, have a happy day, a happy face, can change the way people feel. Helping others. Waiting till everybody's finished their work before you leave. That's what successful teams do. And they know that if they help each other, even if it's not their job, then the team overall will improve. Together, everyone achieves more. Successful teams give recognition. That's our third point. Everybody has a need to feel appreciated and important. Would you agree with that? Yes. No matter how menial the task, no matter what the job is, successful teams know how to make people feel appreciated, no matter what their job is. How many times do we call departments, we phone other people, we contact people that let us down or get something wrong, but when they get it right, we never call them. We leave them alone. What would happen if you reversed that? What if you picked up the phone, called the switchboard? Oh, thanks for finding Mr. Bloggs for us. That was so prompt and we appreciate it. They would faint. What if you called the works department? I just want to let you know everything's working. What if you phoned the boss and said, oh, is that the boss? We just want to let you know we don't need extra staff today. Would it make a difference? You know, most people don't get praise at work. We're told if we're getting something wrong, we'll be told about it. But if we get it right, we'll be left alone. And that's called praise. But people need praise. How do you give it? Find an opportunity every day to praise someone else. Let me give you an example. Shane, I couldn't help noticing the way that you handled that complaint earlier on. In the end, she was apologising like mad. You were terrific.
Oh, thanks very much.
Well done.
She asked me for a date.
Remember to praise each other and remember to recognise the work that you do. Successful teams take account of their achievements. They keep an achievements list. What would happen if you started every meeting, instead of talking about apologies, isn't it funny how we talk about the people who aren't there? What if you started every meeting by saying, what's one thing you've achieved since we met last? Would it change the whole attitude of that meeting? So opportunities to give praise, to give recognition. Giving awards to people. There's a number of awards that you can give to people and they love to take them home. See what I got from work today. Little things written down that signify that they're appreciated. Let me ask you a question. Is money enough to be happy at work? What about $100,000 a year? Who says that changes everything? Let me give you an example of someone paid $100,000 a year, not enough to make them happy. We fly often, as you know. We were on an international flight one day and we get to know the crew. And on this particular flight, we knew our favourite captain was in charge because of his creative message to the passengers.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Now, some of you think that you're afraid of flying. Well, you're not afraid of flying. What you're afraid of is crashing.
And we knew that our favourite captain was flying the plane. So we raced down to the cockpit and we said, hi, how are you? What's new in your life? He said, I've just clocked up my 20th year with this airline. We said, wow, what did they give you? He said, I got a letter from personnel to say it's come to our attention that you've spent 20 years with us. Please go to the personnel department and we will give you a lapel pin. He said, there's more. I said, there can't be more. He said, every 6 months we have a performance review. Every 6 months we're told what we're getting wrong around here. I'm never told what I get right. I've been flying these planes for 20 years and I brought every single one home. And no one ever tells me what I've got right. Oh, no. He said, there's more. I said, there can't be more. He said, we no longer have a name. We sign our flight sheets with a number. We are faceless. Oh, no. Well, something had to be done. And if you were me and you had a captive audience in the cockpit, what would you give them? A seminar, a motivational seminar. And then I said to him, how would you like a roll of stickers? And he looked at me like you're looking at me, perplexed, bewildered. I said, what would happen if I gave you a roll of noddy in an aeroplane? He said, noddy in an aeroplane. He became animated and excited for the first time. He said, that could be my logo. I could put that on my flight sheets and people would know it was me. This man is paid $100,000 a year, not enough to make him happy. We give him stickers and he's over the moon. The first officer says, what do I get? And I said, well, you can't fly on your own for a start, so you're not getting noddy. In fact, the captain said you're not getting my noddy. So I said, you can get noddy and big ears in a car. What are we saying here? That money's not enough. It's why people work, but it's not why they come to work. It's not how well they work when they come to work. So little things make a difference. Give recognition. Successful teams give recognition. They find ways to do that. If you want to improve teamwork, you must be prepared to fight fair. And that's our fourth point, fight fair. You know, when workloads increase, when the money gets tight, when the resources are scarce, have you noticed that people pull away from each other? Instead of working together, they work against each other. And there's always going to be conflict in teams, not only in terms of competing for scarce resources, but also because there's personality differences. How many of you are working with people you've worked with for years and years? The same faces, and you look at them sometimes and you think, will they ever take a package? Will they ever retire? So teams are like families, and you need to work on this business of resolving conflicts. How many times when someone's doing something that the team doesn't approve of, do we talk about them behind their backs in the tea room? They're not pulling their weight. They should arrive to work on time. And we say someone should do something about that. Someone should tell them. What about you? Why don't you tell them? Let me show you how you might do that. Let's imagine that Shane's been arriving late for work. Shane, can I say something?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Look, when you're late for work, it means extra work for me. And I feel annoyed.
Well, that's your problem.
I know it is, and that's why I'm talking about it now. If you're prepared to come to work on time, then I think that we're improving teamwork around here. Thanks, Shane.
All right.
Now, he may not be happy about the feedback, but notice how I gave it to him. Firstly, in private, and secondly, these were the words I used. When you, I feel, because. When you're late for work, it means every extra work for me, and I feel annoyed. So you give the feedback, you say the feelings. Did you notice when he said that's your problem? Yes, it is, and that's why I'm raising it. Now, he still has the choice whether he's going to do the right thing or not. But if he does the right thing, if people make the improvement, go back and praise them. Let's say he's been coming to work on time every day for a week. Shane, I just want to say how much I appreciate that you're coming to work on time these days.
Oh, made a bit of an effort.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I think it's making a difference to the team.
Okay.
Did you notice how I said I appreciate it, not thank you? Because he's not doing it for me. I appreciate it. Another way to reduce conflict, resolve conflict, is to improve your communication and understanding of each other. You know, we have got no idea what's behind another person's job. So you might have wow days. A wow day is a watch others work day. You go into another department or you shadow another staff member and you see the job that they do and how they do it. Another idea is to put entries in the newsletter. Do you have a newsletter where you work? So explanations about your team, what your department does, what your job entails, and be sure to make the entries but also to read them. Read what other people are writing about them. Can people change? Can people change? Let me give you an example. We're returning home to Melbourne recently from an international tour, and as we arrived in Melbourne Airport, what is it about customs that makes you feel guilty? Do you find you feel guilty? I don't know what it is, and you're actually not in the country till you've crossed the line. I wonder what would happen if you crossed the line before it was your turn. Like, would you be shot? I'm going to get you to try that next time, Shane, because I think something awful would happen to you. Anyway, we're in customs, waiting to be called, and we responded to our name, next, and we stepped up to the customs officer, and as we did, he looked us in the eyes and he said, "Welcome home." We said, "Wow, what an attitude." He said, "You should know, I've been watching your Staying Positive video." So people can change if they're given the information. You can change. Team members can change. And when you do, when you decide to fight fair, you get things out in the open, you're prepared to listen to each other, you attack the problem, not the person, then overall you've got a better team. It's happier and more productive. Successful teams have fun. They know that when you have fun at work, you're more flexible, creative, you solve problems, you're more productive, you're less stressed, and absenteeism is reduced. Are there enough reasons to have fun at work? Yes. Laughter's so important. How many of you would say you had a sense of humour? How many of you would say to do your job, you need a sense of humour? Okay. Isn't it interesting how we're not rated on a sense of humour? How many of you would say you had a sense of humour once, but you've lost it? What does a sense of humour mean? A sense of humour is the capacity to see joy in adversity, to see the absurdity in a situation. A sense of humour enables you to take what you do very seriously, but not yourself. So a sense of humour is important. Now what happens in some teams is you've got 2 or 3 people with a great sense of humour and they carry the rest. So 2 things need to happen. If you've got those people, encourage them. How many of you people here would have a little part of your brain that always wants to have fun? It doesn't matter what the job is, how hard it is, as long as you can have fun doing it. But there are some members of the team that don't believe that fun is compatible with work. And they'll say, look, when the work's finished, there'll be time for play. And these people drag a team down. I'm not talking about unethical behaviour, but having a sense of fun. Ask yourself, of the jobs that you do each day, how can you make them more fun? How can you introduce more fun at work? Well, our first idea is to set up a fun committee. After all, we have a committee for everything else. Why not a fun committee? A group of volunteers that promise to inject a spirit of fun to the workplace. How do they do it? By organising celebrations. Melbourne Cup hat competitions, sausage sizzles, giving out Easter eggs at Easter, dress-up days, all these little things that when the team's troughing, improves morale and improves the fun at work. How else can you have fun at work? Why not get a Spit the Dummy award? This hangs on the wall and the person who loses their temper has to wear it for an entire day. They say no one does. Usually the threat is enough. The Spit the Dummy award. Another idea is to have a positive party fund. Now what happens with this, if someone's negative, they're aggressive, they arrive late for work, they have to make a donation to the positive party fund. And then on a regular basis, the whole team goes out to celebrate. So they have a positive party. It's all little things that you can do. Get a humour board. Why not devote one wall of where you work to humour? You put cartoons up, funny sayings, quotations, funniest things that have ever happened to you up on the humour board, and you change that over. Because the thing about developing a sense of humour, having fun at work, it doesn't just happen. You know, you've got to work on this business of having fun and laughter. In fact, in some organisations, laughter is considered to be so important for productivity, they are setting up laughter rooms for staff. Because there's nothing more refreshing than a good laugh for an overworked team. Would you agree with that? In hospitals, they are setting up laughter clinics to aid recovery of patients. That's how important it is. And you've got all those good reasons why to have more fun at work. Another idea is to get yourself a fun box. Get yourself a fun box. Want to see what's in mine? Yes. Okay.
Let's have a look. What do you got?
We're going. Oh, you can put that on.
Do I have to?
Yes, you have to. It's either you or me. Now, how could you take yourself seriously wearing that? Come here, Shane, I'll give you a little spin here. Beautiful, look at that.
Thanks.
Look at my sunglasses. I got these in New York. I wore them for a whole day. I was the only person.
Funny that. What's this one here?
This is a pen for the people that chew the end of it. It's got a dummy on the end of it.
Oh, and you've got a library of laughter. Jokes, gags,
Joke
one-liners,
book.
funny stories. Terrific.
Why not learn to
Hang on to
juggle?
that.
Why not learn to juggle? Do you want to see Shane's effort? Do you want it with the hat or not?
This is sudden.
This is sudden.
No, I've been practising for months. Got to get the tongue right, okay?
The thing about juggling is that while you're juggling, you can't think of anything else. And it's legitimised fun, and there's nothing funnier than watching someone learn to juggle. It's a hoot. Get the boss started on that. Want to say hello to Freddie? You were very good, Shane. Now you take these to meetings. You say, hi, everybody. So go visit your fun shops and buy up.
A Mr. Bean video.
Mr. Bean
Wow.
video.
Yeah.
Where are the Mr. Bean fans? There are all sorts of great videos. And I've got here my serious glasses. These are my serious specs. If you go to a meeting and the boss says, oh, we've got another budget cut, you say, oh, excuse me, boss, but this sounds serious. And you put on your serious glasses. Or say, they say, oh, you're going to have a performance review. Oh, wait on, this sounds serious. How am I doing, boss? I know it's silly, but we've got to be prepared to be silly, don't we? Because it makes it a whole lot easier at work.
What's that?
Oh, this is, brace yourselves. Isn't it wonderful? Now, how could you take yourself seriously wearing this? And Shane, there's yours.
It's not another hat.
It says, I'm their leader. Which way did they go? And you know, if you're a leader of a team, it doesn't matter which way the team goes, they'll be going in the right direction. So what do successful teams do? Start with you. If you improve, everyone else around you will improve. Every team member has got a responsibility to improve the team. Help others. Give recognition. Let everybody know that they're appreciated and they feel important. Fight fair and have some fun. Thank you. Thank you. Let me ask you, what's been your best idea from this program on teamwork?
A negative-free zone area.
Right, put fun in the workplace.
It's the little things that count.
To resolve conflicts, you need to communicate.
Praise the person when they do something good.
If you improve, everyone will improve.
I reckon a fun committee would be good.
Let's not torment ourselves.
What's been your best idea from today?
Stickers.
Together, everyone achieves more.
Your greeting attitude when someone asks, how are you? To say, turbocharge, woo, woo, woo!